Hi everyone and welcome. Today's live session is on visitors, having visitors to your house and also visiting when you have your dog with you. So it's a tricky time. Either your dog might love or hate visitors, but what remains is that few dogs are entirely indifferent to having visitors or going visiting. So it tends to be a fairly intense time for your dog. So let's talk first about managing having visitors to your house. So there are several strategies that you can use. The first one is over time to help your dog to feel relaxed in their own space. So lots of new dog owners want the dog to have the run of the house. And in fact, dogs often feel more relaxed and contained if you've trained positively a good, calm, relaxed response to being in their crate or their playpen, or it can be a whole like a utility room with a stair gate on it. So it's a cornerstone really for dealing with your visitor issues, is to make sure they have a place where they can feel calm and relaxed, so that as your visitors come in the house, your dog is in their crate or playpen with all of the best licky mats, with doggy peanut butters, perhaps chews. You would never buy them, but someone's given them for Christmas and you know they might really love. So they have all of that as your visitors come in. And for a lot of dogs, the difficult time is the first 10 minutes while there's still hustle and bustle in the household, and that actually once your visitors are sat down and relaxed, your dog's going to be less bothered. So having them in their own area while your visitors come in and waiting until all of the energy has settled and your dog's calmly had that sought after raw meat Kong or whatever you've done for them, then we're through the first bit. So it is really a mistake to let the dogs go careering up to the front door barking. Instead, they need to learn that if the doorbell goes, they're going to have something to do, and the visitors are not their visitors, they're your visitors. The next thing, though, is reintegrating them, because actually putting them in their pen or their crate stops them rehearsing the wrong behavior. But you still got to teach them the right behavior. And the right behavior for a lot of people is just simply that the dog can learn to be around visitors without either barking or jumping up, because a lot of people, even if they're really dog tolerant, don't particularly like the jumping up. So once you've got over that initial bit of hurly-burly, the next step would be to have your mat as your secret weapon. This is the mat that you've trained your dog to lay on and relax on. And to be honest, if I was doing this with a new puppy and I had visitors, I would just bring my puppy out as soon as I could and get them doing a really nice settle on the mat with a house lead on, just so that they could learn to be relaxed around people being here. That's our first stage. And this is live and my puppy is now creating. So I'm just going to give her a few treats. There you go, Pop Pop. So that's your second phase, get them out amongst the visitors, doing a nice, relaxed, calm stay on the mat. If that goes really well, the next stage would be to teach them a visitor behavior. And as a go-to starter for 10, I would recommend that you arm your visitors with your best treats and you send your dog to go say hi, and the person, either for a young or inexperienced dog, just gives them a treat. If the dog's a little bit further on, you might ask them to sit and then give them a treat. And then, really important, just to recall them away, then go back on the mat for a bit. If you leave the dog there, especially if they're quite used to jumping up, they'll go back to jumping up on the visitors. So have a crate or a playpen that you've spent quite some time conditioning, and practice putting the dog out with all the best yummies whenever you have visitors. Once they've learned to relax in isolation, bring them out, let them lay on a mat around visitors, doing a settle. And once they've really got that sorted, then I invite them to go and say hi to visitors, do a sit, and then recall them away. You will find once you can do all of those things, that actually quite often you can then let the dog be free, walk around with the lead trailing, but you do need to make sure that as soon as your visitors are going to get up and move around again, that you perhaps put the dog out the first few times, because that movement can trigger anxiety, barking and jumping up. So that is about what happens when you have visitors in your house. Pop, 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 pop. You're being a naughty puppy, aren't you? Come on, let me give you some more of these. Sit, puppy, sit, sit. Oh, good girl. There we go. So the next thing just to touch upon is what to do if you're going to go and visit and you have your dogs with you. And again, even really dog-friendly families might not want your dog coming in, counter surfing, jumping up with muddy footprints all over your host. So if you can, make sure your dogs have a massive long walk first, so they're going to settle nice and quickly. If they're a young dog, even take a fold-away crate and give them time in the crate with, again, you arrive with an army of Kongs and licky mats, so that as you arrive for a younger dog, straight in the crate with all the yummies. And for an older or more experienced dog, you might want to ask them to lay on the mat and just settle on the mat for a stream of treats. And then, you know, say hi with your visitors armed with some lovely treats. So that's a little bit on visiting with your dog. One other thing just to mention though is the topic of other dogs. Other dogs in the household is a tricky subject. So ideally, you would, if you're going to have visitors to your house who have another dog, make sure they've had a walk together first. They meet outside the house. Make sure you've picked up anything that might be laying on the floor that might trigger any anxiety, like Kongs or bones, and that the dogs are really, really tired before they come in the house. Avoid meeting anywhere for the first time where you're going to have to be either on lead or contained. So try and get all the meeting and greeting done if you can in a low-key way out of the house. If you watch this on replay, please feel free to leave comments and ask questions and I will answer everyone. And if you have watched on replay, be really grateful if you can just leave a comment, #replay. And look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye for now.